I won't go into necessarily the specifics of the conversation that I had, with David. But what I can tell you with David, really even since the spring and definitely since we've been back, he's been very engaged with, our coaching staff, our performance staff. He's shown up in terrific shape. I do think that there's an element of kind of getting back around with your teammates, your coaches, the excitement of training camp. We've been very consistent that we think David can be a big part of where we're trying to go as a team this year, and that we think that he has an important role to play, for this roster and for this team. So, we're looking forward to working with David, and think that he can have a fantastic year.
Were you surprised he asked to be traded in the first place?
Yeah, no, I'll be honest. Yeah, a little bit, Mary Kay, and I guess you learn not to be surprised about anything. But he communicated well through it. He worked through it professionally. We had good communication with his representation. We think we're in a pretty good place right now.
But that's interesting because that looks like a perfect time to cut bait, the way that's set up, and yet it looks like the Browns still want him. It looks like now Njoku wants to come here, but that has to be on advice of his agent, I would think. Is saying, look, we tried to make a deal and it didn't work. Go out and play well, have a good year, and we'll talk next year. Is that what it looks like to you?
Yeah, well, I think you and I have talked before, Les. If, as an organization, especially before Thursday, I would not trade anybody. I want to know who's along for the ride this year and who isn't. And until the opt-out passes, and then the rest is sort of more involuntary. You could still have guys test positive and have to be quarantined or leave the team for a certain amount of time. So I'm not in favor of trading a guy when he wants to get out because the leverage is already reduced. And especially in a situation like this where you may need all hands on deck depending on what happens with this COVID-19.
All right, so what we know and what we've seen here, to me it looks like the Browns are going to help him look good and have a good year, and he's going to try to help himself so somebody wants him next year. Or are they playing a game of musical chairs here?
No, I think there's something in it for each side, but what's going to determine his market value is on third down when Landry and Beckham are seeing the kind of coverage we think they're going to see. Who's Mayfield going to feel comfortable throwing to, Njoku or Austin Hooper? And I think Njoku's initial sense of that was probably right, that he's going to be a third wheel or a fifth wheel or however you want to call it.
Yeah, but
I don't think he's going to be a guy that they look for in the passing game as much as they have had reason to over the past couple of years.
Unless he does something to make them notice him and make sure that they do get him the ball. I mean, I think,
and athletically, that could very well happen. I mean, the
Right.
guy's a tremendous athlete. It's just is he the guy that on 3rd and 8 and he's where you want him to be in a pass pattern, and is he going to catch the ball?